Welcome, everyone. This is Ponies, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin
Hi, hi.
and Cinders.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And this week we are going to start out with a little hint that was given on the forums, and that is that far-ranging stables will be coming soon to a neighborhood near you.
Hopefully,
Happy
truly to a neighborhood.
Stable Masters, yay!
And the stable masters they're talking about would be some stable masters that could be at the central part of your neighborhood, and that they will go to all the major hubs. They say a comprehensive list of destinations will be there, which means that if they have these at the Belfalis neighborhood, you can just imagine just porting to your house, since the cooldown time on those ports are pretty short. And then being able to get to any of the major hubs, that would be nice.
That'd be really nice. Especially from, like, the Falathorn housing area. Because that one's more annoying to get back to civilization from than most of the others.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, really in the middle of nowhere.
I found it the first time on accident. I was trying to get to Dueland from, the Hobbit place that's right there. That starts with, I think,
Needlehole?
Yes, that one. And I took a wrong turn.
You took a wrong turn out of the Needlehole?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could get you into the housing neighborhood for the elves.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, what is this place? And then I was like, oh.
That does show sort of how far away it is. If the closest place to the elven housing neighborhood is a hobbit village.
Well, I'm not sure which one is closer, that one or Dueland, but it's easier to get lost going from Needlehole to Dueland than it is from Dueland to the Falathorn homesteads.
There is that. So we do expect to be getting then some nice travel options from your neighborhood. They did note that they won't be able to have it go the other way around. They do have some routes that from the nearest neighborhood that goes to the entrance of the housing neighborhoods, but that is the closest they could ever do, having them going into the housing neighborhoods, since the housing neighborhoods are instanced and it just doesn't work with travel options.
It's still better than nothing, though. And I would be equally as happy if they put the stable master and had it go both ways from the entrance of the housing development without ever having to actually go in. I'd be okay with that, too.
Well, there is that, too. I think it's because they wanted to make it a perk for those who have the houses, and that's why they're inside. Because otherwise, just anyone would be just going to there through the horse and then connecting to just about anywhere from there.
Fair.
But anyway, apparently there was a hint that there's a possibility that they're starting to test the next premium housing neighborhood on Palantir. Or, unfortunately, that I think was based on a response from a chat thing in there, so that is nothing solid.
Yeah, I caught Cordovan's live stream yesterday, and people in chat were asking about Rohan housing, and Cordovan hinted at something that was going on in Palantir, and that's basically where it ended. So it wasn't even really confirmed necessarily that there's no Rohan housing, but I guess if they're working on premium housing, then Rohan would be the most likely suspect.
Yes, because we have that Rohan has been a popular place that people have been asking for, and B, they're getting ready to release in early January the Rohan for the. Well, I'm assuming it's early January because that's would be 4 months. But actually, they said it'll be in early 2020.
Yeah, they didn't confirm January, just sometime next year.
Yes.
Early next year is the
Early next
update
year.
for the legendary servers.
So it's possible that we will have our.
Which, yeah, it's Rohan. Rohan
housing
for legendary servers. That's wild.
Then
bunches of war steeds. Can you imagine the lag with everybody on war steeds? No, thank you.
Boy. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. As soon as they open up Rohan.
Every time we talk about stuff like that, it's like, you know what? I really should play on the legendary server. And then it's, you know what? I'm really glad I'm not playing on the legendary server.
See, I was just thinking that. It's like, from Terry's response, I'm guessing Pineleaf is the only one of us who has a character high enough to be affected by that.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure mine has not left.
Yeah.
Nickel delving.
I have a feeling that I'm going to do the epic, or that I'm going to do the epic first, and then come to Langhold, because that way the land rush into getting war steeds would be over by the time I get there.
If it's not, we might hear about it.
I hope. Yes, you are right. I hope.
Say, the first rush of alts through will, but by the second or third wave, you might get caught right up in that.
Yeah.
You do have a point. But things tend to get more staggered in the second and third waves. Usually it's
but remember, people aren't going to be getting there and then moving on. They're still going to be all over the Eastern net, because that's basically your endgame area.
Well, yes. But I'm hoping, for example...
And you're going to have, active hunting of warbands and stuff going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they'll be all over the place. It's just
much lag. So much lag.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking, if all of the other or even some of the other players, if they're like Sans, 42 alts in, and every single one of them needs to have a war steed if they're high enough level. You gotta have the speed, you know?
It's hard to beat war steed speed.
That is true.
Well, it is hard to beat it, but there are some times where I prefer control over speed. There's a reason why Terry calls them suicide horses.
It's true. There's a reason. Although I'm getting better at doing my war steed, because Sirisha tends to prefer hers.
Yeah.
Except in Dol Amroth. I'm not crazy enough to ride a war steed in Dol Amroth. Yet. It's coming. Because every time I go down those stairs to the docks, I'm like, you know what? I should take a war steed down this at some point. You know what? I've taken a war steed up
has done that, and do you know what happens?
You wind up in the water.
You crunch.
Yeah, that too. I've taken a war steed up it. I haven't taken it down yet. But actually, when she first got to the city, I rode the war steed all over the place, and because she came in through that entrance, so it was tour the docks and then go up the stairs. And going up the stairs is easy. Coming down the stairs requires a little bit more precision.
Well, I suspect that if I rode a war steed in Dol Amroth, I'd probably do it as a trot at best.
What? There's more than one speed at which they go? No way!
I know. With Sans Winda, I think she's at full gallop all the time.
Yes. And it's always a light war steed, so that when you're in an area where you can actually use the skills, she doesn't get stopped just at 15. She can go 16.
No, you go up to 16. Yeah, it's boost the war steed to 11.
Yeah. That's her thing to do. Yeah, that
sounds like Sans Winda. And in fact, I think was it yesterday? I'm trying to think of what it was. It might have been yesterday, where she accidentally hit the insert key, and what happened, of course, is that changed her gait. And she didn't realize that it did that, and she was wondering why she was capped at a canter.
That's funny.
So, my light war steed can't go faster than 12.5.
That would have been so frustrating for her.
That's too funny.
Oh, poor Sans.
Poor Sans. Yeah, because
The
he
rest of
doesn't
you
know
were
anything
probably
about slowing
enjoying
it
that,
down.
though.
Let's enter the LOTRO Beacon. LOTRO Beacon issue 140. Where on the top we have, well, it looks like something out of, well, I'm pretty sure it's somewhere out of the Morgul Vale, because that seems to be the theme they've been having lately.
Well, it is the newest content, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So something that looks like it's out of the Morgul Vale, because, well, certainly looks like Mordor to me.
Yeah, it does.
Let's head into our community spotlight. The Winterfest arrives next week on Crick Hollow, so you could click to learn more about this awesome annual concert event. And the Anduin Ensemble recently presented The Hobbit on Acorns Oaks, and we even hear that it was live streamed to a pub in England.
Ooh, congrats, guys.
Nice.
You can find the full video at the link. And old Benny has put together a new Guardian tanking and level 130 gearing guide.
I need to be checking that out.
You have a 130 Guardian?
No, I have a 120 Guardian who has embarrassing low morale right now. And is very easy to kill.
So on 10 levels, that could come in very handy. Yes.
I need to know what I'm aiming for.
Yes. And what you need to do along the way, I guess, in order to help.
Yes, it's that whole planning phase that I really am not good at.
Then let's head into the Kin Hall. Extraordinarily Adequate is an Ithil-based kinship that recently celebrated their 1-year anniversary with a costume contest, races, and more. The Kin is always recruiting groupers from all kinds of content. Check out the pic below from their event. And there it is with them all celebrating in front of a statue, I presume, that they got from an instance or something.
So what kind of a statue is that? It looks like a dragon.
That's exactly what it looks like to me also.
But it kind of looks like a dragon with a dwarf standing on top, giving a lecture.
Well, I do see someone standing on top with a lecture, but it doesn't look like a dwarf to me, unless there's...
No, that's an elf, but like the way the head is on the screen I'm looking at.
Yeah, it does look like there's something behind it or riding it, unless it's a horn of some sort.
I think it's supposed to be a horn, but it kind of looks like an upraised hand, like somebody is lecturing up there.
It does.
And it's a pretty stout character, and so I'm thinking dwarf, because it's too tall for a hobbit.
Now I can't unsee it.
Right?
You're welcome, Pine Leaf.
Now, the elf's head makes it look more like it's somebody standing there.
Right? Now, if they had just like jumped in the air and then done their like a dramatic defeat emote, it could have looked like a dragon was eating it. Which would have been even more epic. But this is really cool. Because they're dancing, and one of them has like jumped into the air. They've caught him mid-jump.
Yeah.
There's a few of them that are like mid-jump there. It's a nice pick.
Very well. That's a nice pick there. So let's head into our weekly comment. And this time they're asking, what is your favorite event of the Yuletide Festival?
It is not the skirmishes. I don't know.
I really love the theater. I love the theater. I like going to the theater and either being part of the audience or being part of the cast in the theater event.
Let's say, I don't know that I have a favorite event necessarily, because I just kind of like it all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still hoping that they'll listen to our pleas for not account-bound festival cosmetics. I know it's a vain hope, but I'm throwing it out there again anyway.
Your annual plea, or actually quarterly plea.
Yeah, my quarterly plea, my every festival plea for please stop doing this. It's really annoying. And it makes no sense.
Oh, well.
I like, if they're going to keep doing it, at least tell us why they've decided to do it that way, because it makes no sense. If they were trying to stop, like, the trade or whatever between cosmetic outfits, but cosmetic pets are still not account bound. And those go for way more than any of the cosmetics do, ever. I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's right up there with give us recipes for the festival dies. So.
I would want recipes for fun festival food too that you can only get at the festivals, like being able to make like Yule logs. Have your cook make a Yule log or something, you know?
Yeah.
That would be really fun.
Well, and the vendors have like the special event themed rations every year.
Yeah.
For each of the festivals. Those recipes would be cool too.
Yeah, I think it'd be really fun. Or if it was something that was unique to each festival and it gave you like a special boost.
I mean, we're looking for stuff to revitalize crafting. We just got a new crafting tier. So, yeah. I mean, give us this stuff too.
Yeah.
All right, we have some responses from the group there. We have, Square Ended says, "Oh, I don't know, Cinders. The snowball fight is cute," meaning the skirmish one.
No, it is not.
And
it's annoying.
Yes, and Doralyn said he loves the Muppet doppelgangers in the theater.
Yep.
I think Sam Burke likes the snowman building one.
Oh, is that why he said it that way? Yeah, I guess there is the one where you go around the place picking up the stuff for building the snowman.
Although it'd be really fun too if you had an option to like go around and kick yours down, and that was like a deed. Like build it and then kick it down.
Build it and kick it down. Oh.
Ooh, cheering the snow beasts. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Cheering the snow beast is good. And one thing I want to mention again is you can cheer the same snow beast 3 times instead of having to go wake up all 3 snow beasts, because there are only 3 snow beasts and they take forever to go back to sleep.
Yeah, they just wanted to take a nap.
They really just wanted
those poor snow beasts.
You know, I think during the winter, the snow beast might be my spirit animal.
You just want to take a nap?
Just want to take a nap.
And you keep getting woken up by noisy people cheering at you?
No. Not noisy people cheering. It's my alarm clock. Cheering me to get out of bed.
I thought you were going to say a noisy son saying, "Mommy!"
No. I'd say that and the dogs that think that everything is worth barking at. And you're like,
oh, yes, they do that a lot, don't they?
Yes, well, we have one dog that's very convinced that unless it gets lured into its crate, it's not been properly put to bed. So he will lay in his crate and bark until you let him out and lure him in. Yeah.
Funny.
Which is not a good way to go to sleep either. It's a great preventative, just like people cheering at you 3 times.
Yeah. Let's head into the fan site news. Yiki is raising funds for Wounded Warrior Project. You can check out Yiki's channel. And Chickening Around is a web comic about LOTRO. This week discover a horse and a hobbit.
That sounds fun.
And Coraline does an amazing watercolor of a LOTRO character, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Whee! Okay. full of food. And YouTube is home to many LOTRO video creators. This week they are highlighting casual raiders, tackling harrowing of Morgul Tier 3. Kibot the Barbarian levels up, and Salmon Go heads into Moria. And LOTRO Stream is your first stop to find LOTRO on Twitch. Check out recent streams from Shunsun, Edeleth, and Red Baron. And other Twitch streamers are also getting into the LOTRO show, including official Mr. Britt, Gabe Smealing, and Darnolf Thurnham Girl. Let me try that again. Let's see. Darnolf Thuram Girl.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that. That'll do for now. And just note that the Yuletide Festival arrives next week. The event will begin at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on December 12th and will run through January 6th.
Counting down.
And that means that there will be an update to the game before that time, because the update is going to include all the stuff for the Yuletide Festival. So obviously, if they don't have the update, we're not going to get a Yuletide Festival.
I love updates. They're my favorite.
Especially if they happen while you are at work, so you don't have to worry about missing.
You know, that is only helpful if Sans remembers to patch my game while I'm gone.
Well, there is that little detail.
Otherwise, I still have to wait on the patch when I get back.
You have to wait on the patch, but at least you don't have to wait for them to bring the servers back up.
That is true. I don't.
And for the screenshot of the week, French Girl Gaming gets the nod for this week's screenshot on a gorgeous landscape. You could click there to follow her on Twitter and check out her channel on Twitch. And this looks like the mirror in just outside of Moria.
That is what it looks like, yep.
That's what I was thinking too. That means I'm getting better at this.
Well, after you going all over the place trying to stump people, you must be able to recognize things a little bit better now after all of that.
Sometimes. Sometimes I have to go back to where I was to remember where I was. Or be like, Sans, where is this place actually at? Because I don't know.
You don't write it down?
No. Sometimes I just say, hey, point me somewhere with X, Y, and Z. And she'll be like, okay, let's go here. I don't always know where here is. Because I don't read in that 10-second timer clicking down. I don't read where she's taking me. I just click yes or okay or whatever it is so I can go.
Aha. So you were quite happy to be able to do the one at the Hall of Memory where Sans wasn't there?
I didn't mind that one. I actually just knew that it was the Hall of Memory. Because that one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But that's sometimes why she's in the pictures with me too, is because I'm just like, take me, please. She takes me. And then we take pictures together. So sometimes she knows and sometimes she doesn't.
Sometimes she knows, sometimes she doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Let's then head into our store sales for this week. And Terry, what's on sale?
Well, we've got our new week of December deals, which is 35% off the enhanced rep supply, 50% off the high elf race, and 75% off Where Dragons Dwell and Legacy of the Necromancer, which are not expansions, they're like zones, update thingies. Now through December 12th, of course, if you're VIP, you can't get those 75% off thingies because you're VIP and they're free for you anyway. But then we have 25% off some storage thingies. We got vault storage and shared storage, inventory slots, currency cap now through December 12th. And the weekly coupon gets you a free Landscape Soldier token with coupon code ENLISTME now through December 12th.
And say M's going to be getting that because she needs to be able to run around with her Rohirric gentleman
Pocket
behind
healer?
her. No. Maybe I can have him be a healer.
Pocket healer. Herbalist or archer? What is he normally if he's not a healer?
I think her soldier is an archer.
Okay.
I don't actually know. I
Well,
might have
extra DPS
several
is good,
options
too.
for her. Well, yeah, when you're on a guardian, because she's kind of...
Yeah.
When she's actually, like, geared, she's pretty hard to kill, because she's a guardian. So she just needs something that can do the DPS.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's why I had gone with the archer. But she might, because it's M, she might have multiple options. Because I think I started getting her soldiers before, like, her soldier person before I knew that I should be asking Pine Leaf which one is best for my class. So now I just say, hey, is this one going to cause a problem?
Yes. So I did this week get some extra shared storage and wardrobe space for this week. Sort of topped off what I had there, since apparently they added some more since the last time I bought some.
I think I've capped mine out, sadly.
Yep.
I know I've capped my inventory slots.
Yeah. I mean, they did help inventory slots with the carry-alls, but Cordovan said there's not currently plans to put the carry-alls in the store, which is a little bit distressing to like everybody because
well, there's some
those things are handy.
Or they should put in different carry-alls maybe. So maybe not the same carry-alls, but they should put in carry-alls for other things.
Or they could have medium carry-alls in the store.
Oh. Or large carry-alls. Large carry-alls.
Oh, that's right. Actually, the task ones, they already have the large ones. So I thought maybe medium task ones.
I thought the task ones were medium and
No,
small.
task ones they had medium. I got that backwards. That was the
Yeah,
crafting ones that they did large and small. And they did small and medium, I think, for the task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like one for legendary items. It should accommodate at least 8. Well, probably really 6, because you can have 2 actually like slotted at any point. But it would be nice to not have the other 6 roaming around in your bag trying to figure out which one you're actually using.
Well, it'll disable leveling for them, I think, when you have that in there. But seeing how currently I have none that are eligible for leveling, I wouldn't mind.
It would be good for people who carry around multiple sets, like if you've got a set for tanking versus DPS, something like. I mean, I have zero use for it because the only time I have extra allies is if I'm leveling them, so that I can scrap them, so that I can use the XP runes and relics and whatnot.
But there are some people who would use them.
Oh, yeah, I know there's people who would use them. I just happen to be lazy. Plus, I play a champion, which I only have one role, and it's DPS.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that would be something that some people might find really convenient, so it'd be worthwhile putting in the store.
But yeah, I absolutely love my crafting and task carry-alls. They are fantastic because, especially the crafting ones, because I don't craft, but I hang on to all of that stuff so that I can send it to people to do crafting for me. Yeah. Well, so having a bag for all of that junk is the best thing ever. I freed up like 20 slots.
Yeah, well, I wish they would have those ones available for sale, though, because it would be nice to be able to get them on servers where you're collecting stuff, but it might not be your main server. But that way it wouldn't be cluttering it up and preventing you from being able to do... because I know, like, when I logged into Arkenstone, sometimes I spend more time doing inventory management than I can do playing, and that's kind of frustrating. So it'd be nice to be able to go purchase one for that server so that I could just log on and play.
Yeah, so you need to train yourself to do your inventory management before logging out.
There isn't always time, though, Terry.
Oh, well.
No, it's called training yourself to do the inventory management before you log out, so you make the time. So you're like, okay, I have to be off in like 15 minutes, so I need to stop now so I can do my inventory management.
Fair.
Oh, well.
I could try that sometime.
I just hope that when they do bring them to the store, they don't say, okay, we'll bring in tiny bags.
If they bring in tiny bags, you should be able to buy multiples of them on a server.
Well, that kind of defeats the purpose, though.
Yeah.
Well, you still have to have somewhere to store them. Because, I mean, if you had to buy like 20 tiny ones to accommodate your inventory, then you still have to find 20 storage slots somewhere for them.
Yeah, but 20 tiny ones is going to take up 20 slots. So then how many slots do you actually have freed? If they're tiny slots, they're only storing like 1 or 2 things at a time.
Right.
The fact that they stack beyond the normal 50 stack is nice.
Mm-hmm. Or beyond 500.
Dorlin in the chat suggested a good one, the instrument bag for those minstrels who carry all of the things, because I have minstrels who carry all of the things.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone who plays in a band would love such a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are lots of bands.
Yep.
And there are lots of solo musicians as well.
Many of them. All right, then we'll want instead maybe colossal bags.
A colossal crafting bag, can you imagine?
Yes.
Hey, I would pay real
stack up to whatever.
I would tell you, the colossal crafting bag though, if it was a bag that was designed to hold a stack, even if it was just a stack of 500 of everything, like every crafting mat, like you could get one of those, like of the landscape dropped ones. I would pay real money for that. I personally would.
Everything bag.
I'm pretty sure that's your inventory.
That's what your inventory is to begin with.
All right. Here are the sizes that they have for ingredients bags in DDO: tiny, small, medium, large, extra large, huge, gargantuan, and colossal.
I could live with any or all of those. I guess I should say with more options. Because I already have 2 of them.
Even tiny bags that only store like 5 things at a time, you could pick like your 5 task items that you actually want to keep because they're task items you'll turn in. And then you know that you can sell everything else. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So in DDO, how many things can a tiny one hold?
A tiny one, let's see, the tiny ingredients bag holds 12 unique items with 1,000 each.
Hey, I could handle having one of those. That would be huge.
Yeah. And the colossals hold 1,000 unique items with 10,000 each.
Okay, I'm telling you, I would pay real money for that. I would pay real money for that.
Like, don't even make it available in the store. Just make it a market item.
I would buy it.
To pay real money.
People
would. I totally would.
I would buy it.
Absolutely buy one of those things.
And Sans would buy one for every server.
Yeah, every server.
On every account.
Yeah.
Right. And some of them have in-game sources, and the rest of them are like the smallest sizes. The tiny things, like the smalls and tinies, are very often available in the game through play.
Mary Rose and Dorlin, I would willingly hand over my pocketbook for that. Yes, we all would. Yes, we would.
Yeah, we totally would.
Here, take my money.
That's how to capitalize on stuff. Forget selling the keys, and because yes, you can buy points with money and then turn those into keys, but you can also earn those points in the game. Really ridiculously easy. But if it, put those carry-all suckers in the market only, where you have to shell out real money for them, and I am telling you, the money will just pour in, the floodgates will open, and it will solve like any kind of financial problems.
are solving Standing Stone Games' financial problems that may not exist yet, but could.
Like, I don't even know if it is a problem. It's probably not a problem because I'm sure
It
there's plenty of
probably
money
isn't
spending
a
money on the
problem.
game. I mean, they just came out with a new expansion, and I know lots of money was spent on that.
Oh yeah, especially when they threw in those bags.
Right, because it's like, yeah, have some money, which makes me wonder actually if because the expansion doesn't go on sale for points until March, but I'm wondering if the carry-alls will still be part of the package if you buy it through the store.
Ooh.
With LOTRO points.
But would you be able to get them for a second time if you purchased an expansion?
It won't let you if you've already got it. Like, it doesn't even pop up as an option in the store if you've already purchased it.
Sad day.
Yeah, I know. I know. Because, man, I would absolutely get more of those carry-alls. Not necessarily the crafting ones, but the even the little task item one is really great.
Oh yeah.
I got the medium one because I got points so that I could then get ponies. Because it was the week that the ponies were on sale, and I talked it over with my family because financial things of that magnitude. Because I bought $70 worth of points or $60 worth of points, which is kind of a lot of money for me to spend on LOTRO.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I bought 5 account bound steeds because they were 35% off. So I basically just spent $60 so I could have shiny horses in a digital game. Try explaining that one to people who don't understand computers. It's like,
it's the little things in life.
It really kind of is the little things in life.
It's called self-care. Is what I'm told.
Now I have new horses to match outfits to, and by the way, Well Dressed totally has a new outfit to match his new Dagger Lad steed.
Excellent.
No, the Obsidian steed, because the Obsidian steed is the one that has wings.
Oh, isn't that one awesome?
Yes, it is.
I got that one for Em and Santa. I was like, where did you get it? I was like, the store.
I got that one and the Dagger Lad and the Steed of Rivendell and the Steed of the White Citadel and then the Fleet-footed Goat, because you can never have too many goats.
Unless you have to clean up after them.
Well, I left Moria behind. There's no more cleaning up after goats.
Right, and just for that, Rohan will now include one where you have to clean up after all the dwarves that have run
Oh my
through.
God, no.
Crazy.
Instead of picking up flowers in order to gain rep, you can pick up goat droppings.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let's head into our site news.
Devolving quickly here.
Yes. Let's then head into where in Middle Earth is Emeraldina, and they note here that last week they were in the 6th circle of Minas Tirith looking towards the prow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty shot.
And this week's where in Middle Earth is Emeraldina is, I'm going to stick out my neck and say that it might be a hobbit hole.
I can see the potential
the real
there.
question is, which one?
Yeah, there are a couple of different options.
Yeah.
But this is another really great shot.
Thank you.
I love the light coming through the windows.
Really
I just hope that this isn't M's house in the housing neighborhoods.
I told you I stay away from the housing neighborhoods. So it is not in the housing neighborhoods. And also the housing neighborhood ones, as far as I know, they don't have those kinds of pretty windows in the
They don't, which is actually, it makes me think that maybe we need a wall item for the house where it gets you this set of windows, because that's actually really great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, the trouble is that I'm used am only generally in the standard house in that neighborhood, so I don't know what the larger versions of the Hobbit houses
I don't
look
think
like.
there's any windows, are there?
I don't think there are any windows in them.
I know there's not in the dwarf housing.
And I don't think there are. I'm trying to think in the Fallow and I don't think there are any windows
I don't think
from the
there are,
interior
actually.
either.
Oh,
I don't think they've put any windows in.
that's a rather. That is rather strange.
I don't even
Yeah,
think
you-
the kin houses have them.
Kin houses do not have them. I know that there are windows in the game because there's like the red and blue tinted ones from Barad-dûr that you can get.
Right?
But as far as I know, those are the only windows in the game that you can put in your house.
I wouldn't want red and blue ones to put in my house.
I don't know. That's why I don't have any.
Well,
Even
they
the bank
are
vault.
Especially not in a hobbit hole.
Even the Belfast bank vaults don't have windows. They have the interior courtyard in the big ones. Do the little ones have a courtyard? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've been in the
No, the
Belfast
little
Chamber.
ones. No, they don't have a courtyard.
But there's no windows.
Maybe there will be windows in the ones in Rohan. Because that would be really pretty, especially if like it had like a standard view looking where like if you were to walk up to the window, it had like a picture of the fields of Rohan.
Oh, it wouldn't even need the view. You could just do like it is in this little hobbit hole, and it's just the warm
True.
yellow light coming through. That'd be great.
Sunshine.
Yeah. Pretty pretty. Then your light could change based on the time of day.
Well,
That
that'll
might
be
be
a
tricky.
challenge.
That might be asking a little much, but it would be nice to have more windows for houses.
That is true.
Then let's head into our new player question. And what's our question this week? It seems to be relevant.
Speaking of houses, how does one purchase premium housing? Since we have a new potential premium housing coming out, and there are already some in the game, how does one get a hold of one of those things?
Well, first off, you'll need some mithril coins.
Lots or little bits?
Lots.
Lots.
They're even the cheap ones really aren't that cheap.
Yeah, that I think they're maybe 100. Was it 200? Was it?
I don't remember.
I'd say it's more
They're
than 100
expensive.
because I've had 100.
They're more than 100,
several
yes.
times.
More than 100. That's a good way of putting it. And of course, the larger ones are even more expensive. And if you want your own island,
You can get your own island.
Oh
It
yeah, the kin houses are
can
on
have.
islands.
Oh, kin
Well,
houses are
there-
islands.
Two of them. Two of them are on islands.
yeah, they're on island. The entire island belongs to the kin. Yes.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think that shot that we saw earlier from Extraordinary Adequate that is from an island kin house.
I don't know. If
It's definitely
from-
Belfalis.
yeah, it's definitely the Belfalis neighborhood, but I don't know if it's an island or not.
Yeah.
I haven't explored that neighborhood a whole lot because it's too bank vaulty for my taste.
Well, there is that.
I toured it quite a bit when it was new, and never bought a house there because I didn't really need a bank vault.
Yeah.
Plus, I like my dwarf hovel.
Yeah. And one of the things about the island ones is that they also have their own little court area because there's this court area that is in the middle of the housing neighborhood where you have the stage and you can have performances and stuff like that. You have a large public one that is available for everyone to use, of course. And then you also have on the island was a smaller version of that court area up there. Actually, I don't even know if it's smaller, but a useful area if your kin had many parties and stuff like that being held outdoors. But yes, they're expensive.
So you need mithril. What else do you need? Anything? Or
The
just mithril?
second thing is that if it is a kin house, you want a kin owner that's VIP.
Okay.
You want the kin leader to be VIP, and the reason is if the homeowner, if it's a personal house, or the kin owner is VIP, then in that case they will waive the usual maintenance fee, because otherwise you got the maintenance fee, the monthly maintenance fee you got to pay,
which would probably be astronomical
after several months. Yes, and it's nice not having to worry about that maintenance fee.
I take it you have a premium house, Pine Leaf?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do have one. Or actually, I have. Let's say I have one on a couple of servers.
I see. So you need Mithril and then kin leader or to be VIP. Anything else?
Okay, as I said, they don't have to be. But you would have to play maintenance otherwise. It's actually, I think that's all you really need. Well,
Do you need the housing writs?
Well, no, the housing writs you could use in place of Mithril.
Oh.
So it could offset part of the price.
Okay. That's
so
helpful.
In theory, you could have enough housing writs in order to cover the entire cost. But I don't know. I think that usually I find that the housing writs are more expensive than the Mithril coins. At least last time I tried pricing it out.
I wonder if they're cheaper when they go on sale.
Oh, the housing writs?
Mm-hmm.
I think I checked that out. I think it probably depends on how large of a block you buy your Mithril coins in, because I didn't notice a significant difference. Either that or Mithril coins were on sale at the same time, so the Mithril was still cheaper.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Then, with the question handled, let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Terry Adwin, what did you do last week?
Well, Terry Adwin is still stuck in Second Age Mordor. But she got to laugh because Gandalf got told. So to avoid spoilers for people, I'm going to try and say this in the most general terms possible. Basically, what we're going through currently is somebody's memory of how things happened, and during part of the story, that person gets interrupted and is very pissy about it, and basically ends up snapping at Gandalf. And it's even funnier when Glorfindel kind of backs him up on it. And then we got to go back to Second Age Mordor. So, yeah, still there. Still there. But we're going to meet somebody else that I've been really kind of dying to meet. So, next week.
Ooh,
tune in next
You're
week.
about to meet somebody else that you are dying to meet.
Yeah.
Him. Oh,
yeah,
yes, of course.
The person we logged out in front of.
Okay. Yes. Now I know whom you're talking about.
Yeah. And we're ever closer to Barad-dûr, so maybe by the end of the year we might actually make it to Minas Morgul.
So for all of you listening who don't have a clue either, you're in good company.
At the slow pace that we're going.
Yes. Anything else?
Yeah. So Sirisha finally got her Huron pet, even though she's not kindred with the Ents still. She did get enough tokens to finally purchase her snowy Fangorn Huron, and it's really, really ugly. And it looks like pint-sized and terrifying. It's great. She ran around with it for a little while she was finishing up some more of the dailies. And her life is pretty much dailies right now, because she is kindred with Dol Amroth and has started the neighborhood, the district dailies, the building dailies to unlock all of those tokens and things. And mostly because she needs essences, because Sans made her this really nice essence gear that she kind of sort of can't use until she puts essences in it. And that was fun. And then for whatever reason, I thought I'd try and work up her crafting a little bit, the tailoring, which she's a yeoman, so she can't actually do any leathery stuff herself. So I got stuck at Riddermark because apparently I have no idea what I did, but apparently I didn't store Riddermark hides on like any of my characters that went through that area. So yeah, so she, and that's Eastern Rohan, which she can one shot that stuff without even being in stealth now, which is awesome. Except she's going through. So I went back to Hootbold, which she never finished, and discovered that she was really close to being ally with the Men of the Entwash Vale. So I went to Aworth and did the round of aiding the Eastern Met there without doing the Beacon or the Ravens thingies. I did 2 of the instances and then the Mounted Combat quest. And she made ally with Entwash Vale, which unlocked a whole other round of buildings. So I've actually finished out several of the buildings now for Hootbold, and I felt very accomplished. Because I also unlocked the resource instances, which she can't actually harvest any of the resources in any of these resource instances because her harvesting profession is farmer. But I'm kind of hoping that it's sort of like with the Fangorn dailies, that the enemies in those instances will rotate through different types of enemies. And that maybe she'll get lucky and something with fur will be an enemy, and then she can kill that and collect hides that way. Hasn't happened yet because the 2 that she actually ended up doing, they were both Easterlings, but I'm still hoping. There's still that vague hope, and it gives me a break from doing Dol Amroth stuff, which is tedious, and I hate fishing. I hate fishing, by the way. Stupid docks quests.
Yeah. I do remember some people complaining about some of them having fur. The people were complaining because they, of course, wanted. They weren't looking for hides; they were looking for other stuff, and so they were complaining whenever they got fur in a Rohan resource instance.
Oh well, I'm perfectly happy getting stuff with fur. I'm hoping for like wargs or bears or something.
I think wolves are in some of them.
Or wolves. I'll take wolves. I'm pretty sure that there's a beast slayer deed that she still needs to complete for Eastamnet too, because she did. I was going through Rohan with the tortoise stone, so she like did all of the quests that you have to do. So there's not really any more reps that, and none of that stuff really gives you rep anyway. You have to do the aiding the Eastamnet, and then well, the nice thing about doing the resource instances is you get tokens of effort for completing the quests, and then you can turn those in for a box of resources of your choice, which the hides box is a whole 8 hides. Woo! So if I just do that for a couple of weeks, instead of 42 days in Minas Tirith, I'm going to do 42 days in Heightfold. But in the process, I might actually finish out the Hootbold rebuild on a character, and that would be fantastic. Because I have other characters coming up that can probably actually make use of the gear, which she can't now because she's over leveled it. But being able to actually use the gear in the level zone that you're supposed to use the gear would be really great. Especially since you get all these tokens that you now don't really need tons of, because you only need 1 token per spot of building instead of like the 5 or 10 or whatever it used to be. So I'm really glad that they did that revamp to make it easier. And then Well-Dressed Killing Machine has been getting some play because I discovered okay, so back up to carry-alls. I got my tasking carry-all on Sirisha because she was trying to get that rep with Dol Amroth, and I figured the easiest way to do that would be to collect all of the task stuff and then just turn it in bunches. She's finished out the next level of the task deed, so she's up to 8 tasks a day now that she can turn in, which is pretty kind of awesome because the only other character Terry finished out that deed. Terry can actually do up to 10. So the next highest character in that tier would be Sirisha because, she does all the things because she doesn't earn XP because Tortoise Stone. So after I got kindred with Dol Amroth, I sent the carry-all to Terry, but she's still carrying around the smaller crafting thing because it's great to collect those materials in that and then send them on to whoever needs them later. And discovered as I was going through her inventory that she had a stack of 4 landscape soldier tokens that she can't use because she's maxed out on time for her landscape soldier because she never uses her skirmish soldier on landscape. Because what the heck does a burglar need an archer for on the landscape? Because really the only time you need the extra assistance is when you can't use it in instances. So I sent those to Well Dressed, whose skirmish soldier is an herbalist. And Well Dressed proceeded to go through the volume 1, book 4, the Trollshaws book, underleveled, and was taking on trolls underleveled and without inspiration. Because I had picked up the Angmarim quest. So when you go looking for the bridle and you go up through the trolls, you can use inspiration to get through the trolls, but there's Angmarim mixed in there too. And there's a quest to kill the Angmarim. The only problem is that you don't actually run into that many Angmarim on the way up and then back. So if you're going to do it, you kind of have to double back through there a couple of times. Well, I ran out of playtime, so I parked him at the bottom of the gorge and then didn't play him for like 3 weeks. And so I logged him back in and didn't know where I was. I was totally lost in the Trollshaws. And I have no quest direction because the quest had dropped off my tracker and I didn't know where I was going. So I ended up going the wrong way, and I ran back into that gorge with all of the trolls with no inspiration because I'd already done that part of the quest, so you can't draw inspiration again. But it's okay because he popped out his pocket healer, and he was taking on those trolls like it was nobody's business. Those trolls, it turns out, are pansies compared to the ones that you fight later when you gotta like fight go into the 3 caves and go to the deepest cavern and use Glorfindel's barrel, which it's fine if you have inspiration, but unfortunately on 2 of those caves, the mobs outside are the same nasty level that they are in the cave, and you don't have inspiration to fight those things. But it's okay because he had a pocket healer. And so it didn't matter that the troll had like 3 times the morale that he did, and that he had no inspiration, and that he was 2 levels under. He was a champion with a pocket healer, and he got the job done. And I felt very accomplished. So he's finished Volume 1, Book 4, and is now in the Misty Mountains, still under level a little bit, but still with pocket healer, because I think he's got like 4 hours of healer time. And I keep forgetting that I have to pop it out whenever he travels. Or like gets on his horse or whatever, it disappears your healer when you get on the horse, so you have to resummon the healer. And I keep forgetting that until I've been through about 2 or 3 mobs, and it's like, wait a minute, why am I not healing? Oh yeah. So yeah, there's no danger that his time's gonna run out anytime soon. But that's been a lot of fun being a champion in places where I remember actually going through that same area and just getting crushed. Because Axley didn't have pocket healer. And plus they've done some changes to how the champion works since then. So Well Dressed just feels more survivable than Axley, poor Axley did back in the day. But that's my week. Cinders, how was yours?
Well, my week was bland for the most part, up until yesterday when I did 3 different things in one day. So I started out listening to the folks on Arkenstone talking about doing roving threats and dying. And I said, well, what's your makeup for your group? And Sans told me, and I was like, well, it sounds like you need a lore master. And then I was like, oh, I don't have any characters high enough to do that with them. My highest character is like level 30. And I went, wait a second. I've got a lore master on there that I don't think is in any groups because I don't keep a spreadsheet. And so then I was like, oh, but I don't know which lore master is in which group. So we consulted the Pinopedia and discovered that Cinderina with a Y was not in the group of all lore masters. So Cinderina with a Y said, yay, whoosh, and she's now 105. So she and Sans are going to be going roving threat hunting because Sans is pretty convinced that her 105 hunter should be able to take on roving threats almost independently. And so she's like, yeah, I'll totally take you. I was like, okay, this can't go poorly.
I expect that to end well.
So the report next week may include how that turns out for us. And then Emerlina did Minas Tirith dailies with Maven, Sans, and Natesh, because I switched over to her. And so she does not quite have Kindred yet to be able to do the ones in the cisterns, but she can do the other two. So she did those with them and discovered it's not nearly as painful when she's a 120 Guardian as it was when she was a 110-ish Guardian. So she'll probably be doing those independently here before too much longer. And then after that, when they switch it off to doing newer content, Emerlina went and opened up more skirmishes with Hadronar, who is a lore master. And I still am not a huge skirmisher fan. So if I ever have a character with the title Skirmisher of Middle Earth, feel free to ask me if I just put Pine Leaf on follow at some point. Because I don't know that I would have the patience to do any skirmish that long. And so despite the fact that she is not geared for her level 120, as the fellowship leader, I looked at our levels and I said, oh, I'll be nice. Hadronar is 122. We'll set it at 122. So we did. I died 3 times. But we did finish the defending the deep way eventually. And then we did the other 2 at level 55 because we were both like, we're not doing that again. So she now has those unlocked.
You actually finished a defensive skirmish at level 122.
Yes.
Congratulations, because as I'll be talking about later on, that
So we finished it. We ran it as a 2-man. You can run them as 2-man, right? It wasn't a 3-man that we were running as a 2-man. Okay. I'm pretty sure we can run it as a 2-man. Because I don't think that I would have done that if it was a 3-man and there were only 2 of us. Although with a Lore Master, it's kind of like 3. Yeah, and the times that I died, it was from the first time it was 2 of the times it was a Bearer of Blight. I died twice from a Bearer of Blight, different Bearer of Blights, and once from a Priest of Vengeance, because it's really hard not to AoE everything when you're a Guardian, and kind of most of your skills are AoEs. So, yeah, but like I said, I only died 3 times, and 2 of those times I was already in the central area, so I didn't exactly have to go very far to get back in the game. So, that part was nice. But we did finish them, and we just ran the other 2 at 55. So she now has her Moria skirmishes open, and she also has her Southern Mirkwood ones open. So, I think she might have her gated ones open for the most part. If not, I'll find out the next time I skirmish with Pineleaf on that character. Pineleaf, how was your week?
I'm going to begin with my lore master, who is going back to the earlier parts of the Black Book of Mordor since I finished the parts that were in Minas Morgul. So I went back into the early Mordor ones. I finished all the stuff in Mordor and just got to the point where you witnessed the destruction of Dol Guldur by Galadriel. And during that time, I finally came to realize why they show us that scene. Because you're saying, well, how's the destruction of Dol Guldur? I know it fits in having to get in there quickly in order to get some information from there, but wondering, right, why do they show us the destruction of Dol Guldur? And it actually, I think, fits in with the storyline of going back into the past. Because in the Lost Lore pages you're collecting, you're hearing on how Gil-galad opened up the Black Gates in order for the Great Alliance to get inside. So when they were talking about that story in there and how it was done, I'm pretty sure that Galadriel used that same technique in order to, or I should say a similar technique in order to destroy Dol Guldur. And I think that is showing what she could do. And then we hear later on what Gil-galad does. So I think those two are tied in. And I think that's why you witness that, is sort of so you could remember that little thing in there, though I'd completely forgotten about it until I was going through it again. And no, I'm trying to be vague here, right? So that's what I was doing on my lore master. That means that I only have to then get, I think I have 4 more books, because I now have to do the North Kingdom stuff and finish that up. And then I could finally unlock the epilogues, because that's why I'm going through the early parts of the Black Book, is so that I could be able to unlock those epilogues. Then on Friday Night Fights, we were doing some tests on there, because you heard how Emeraldina, how Cinders was saying how they were doing level 122, going to level 122 on the Deepway skirmish. Because what happened is that last week we ran a couple of skirmishes at level 122. Now these were 6-player versions of this, and might have even mentioned that in last week. So what I did last week, and both skirmishes that we did, we failed because our defender died, and because we were just wiping so often and stuff like that, because we were just being brutalized. And this week we therefore ran our first 2 skirmishes at level 120, because we ran forward as I'm pretty sure that if we did forward at 122, we would have been Elro here would have been squished.
Did it go better?
Oh, yeah, it went a lot better. We managed to finish the Fort of Bruinen and the... Oh, that's right, we ran Belzadale after that. Then, after that, I decided to select... I was asked to select the next item, and I decided to select Breaching the Necromancer's Gate. And since Breaching is one that doesn't have a losing condition, I decided this would be a good time to test out how bad things are at 121. Now, I should note here that the average level of our group was about 122 at this point. So I figure, what would happen if we ran Breaching Necromancer's Gate at 121? And what I found is that the lieutenants are brutal at level 1. Now, as I said, we're doing 6-player here, and for example, we ran into a Primordial Wrath.
What's a Primordial Wrath?
Are you familiar with the Frigid Squall?
Yes.
Yes. Then think of a shadow version of the Frigid Squall that, instead of exploding near the end, explodes near the beginning.
That's icky.
Yeah, that's icky. And it came in, did its early explosion, and wiped out half our party with that explosion right at the beginning of the fight. So we had all those people trying to run back and trying to get back into the fight after that. And the rest of us, well, I think I was down to very, very low morale at this point as a result of this. And that's after popping Last Stand on there. So yeah, it was really, really nasty on there. So we ran to a couple of lieutenants that proved to be very nasty on there. But we did finish the skirmish, which is the most important thing on the matter. And it looks like that the lieutenants are completely out of tune once you get past level 120. At least that's my opinion on the matter, is that as soon as you get past 121, especially on the 6-player ones, and I heard that some people were having troubles with 3s also, yeah, the lieutenants become really, really brutal, and I'm not too sure what to do about that at the time period. But that's where we're going to. But anyway, that's why I did that test, is after last week I wanted to see, was there a significant difference between 120 and 121? And yes, there is. That is probably the nastiest jump difficulty in skirmishes that exist right now.
Note
Yeah,
to
the regular
self-
mobs, no problem. The lieutenants, brutal.
Note to self: don't do the 6-man.
Yeah. At least not at 121 or higher.
I'll stick with 1 or 2-man, maybe a 3-man.
Yeah, I
Depending.
have not yet had a chance to test out how that works with 3 to see are they as bad or what.
Hey, you guys busy after the show? We can find that out.
I suppose so.
I'm kidding.
Right. And on Honor, my warden learned that stand guard is not the friendliest place in Rohan.
What?
You know, stand guard, where you've got the 2 leaders, and every time you try to do something, you got Sithric complaining.
Well, that's not necessarily their fault, though.
Well, Sithric, it is his fault because he's in with Wormtongue, obviously. But yeah, the rest of the people, it's not their fault. But Sithric, yeah, he's very definitely his fault. At least that's my opinion. So I got into that and resumed bingo and all sorts of fun stuff in there. And that concludes my week. So let's head into news beyond LOTRO, where we have another wallpaper by Darren Loremaster. Riddles in the Dark, stanza 1. So what has roots that nobody sees, and taller stands than the tallest trees? The higher it stands, the higher it goes, yet never grows. Mountains, I suppose. Well, I suppose that if you can't see geologic scale, I guess they never grow. So there we go. And we currently have 15 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. This week, we did not receive any emails, so if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast at LOTROplayers.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, LOTRO Players at LOTRO Players, Arendis at Arendis, Panip at Panip Needles, Sandwin at Sandwin at Terry Edwin, and Cinders at Emeralina. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows on Mondays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that's all for this week. And this is Planet Mules reminding you to skirmish responsibly.